Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. As a leader, and you are a leader, otherwise you would not be listening to the No Days Off podcast. As a leader, your energy is not infinite. It's an incredibly valuable asset, but are you spending your energy wisely? Cue up Molly Fletcher, a master of understanding energy. Who is Molly Fletcher? She is a former top sports agent. She's known as the female Jerry Maguire. Negotiated over $500 million in contracts for elite coaches, elite athletes. And she's now a keynote speaker. She's an author. She's an expert on leadership, on negotiation, and on peak performance. She created this book and this method, the energy clock, which is a system to help leaders like you manage your energy intentionally. Today, I want to break down Molly's Energy Audit because I find it to be a really powerful tool to help you maximize your productivity, to avoid burnout, and to lead with more intention. Here's the problem. I think that so many leaders are actually running on empty. Many leaders assume that they should operate like the Energizer Bunny, myself included, which means constantly on the go, constantly working, constantly responding. The reality, though, is that exhaustion ends up leading to poor leadership. It ends up leading us to making bad decisions, and it stresses out our team and everybody else around us. So I think the key question here is, how do we take control of our energy instead of letting others dictate it, as we probably do all too often? I want to talk about Molly's energy audit process. Okay. And there's several steps here, but I think that if you run through these steps and you take this seriously, it will make a massive difference in how you behave, how you lead each and every day. Step one is to identify your energy sources. Now, there's a few different energy sources we have to analyze here and we have to identify. You have your energizers, right? These are the activities that fuel you. So they give you energy in business, the energizers. So these are things like maybe strategic thinking or planning or working on a significant decision that must be made. Maybe it's mentoring or coaching. Maybe it's speaking and influencing. These are the things, again, that energize you. They're the activities that give you fuel. They fuel you. After you identify your energizers, I want you to identify your drainers. These are the tasks that deplete your energy. Maybe it's unnecessary meetings, or maybe it's micromanaging others, constantly following up, always asking like, why didn't this get done? These things are drainers. They take away your energy. They deplete your energy. And then lastly, there's the neutrals. These are the routine tasks that neither add nor actually drain your energy. For me, this would be like checking emails, doing admin related work. Now, your answers may be very different than mine, but checking email, for instance, doesn't drain me, but it doesn't necessarily give me energy either. So it's neutral. So you have your energizers, the things that fuel you, your drainers, those things that deplete your energy, and your neutrals, those things that neither add nor drain energy. Once you identify these things, the key takeaway here is, of course, do more of what energizes you, reduce or delegate what drains you, and then figure out how to optimize your neutrals. So step one is bucketing these things. Now let's talk about some of the action steps. Step two would be to schedule your energy. What gets scheduled gets done. So you actually can start calendaring the energizing activities, like the creative work or like the deep thinking. Knowing that it gives you energy, get it on your calendar, because what gets scheduled gets done. So for example, for me, I know that in my, for my morning, I have a lot of energy going into my day if I run and work out. And if I also, of all things, go in the cold plunge, that gives me energy. I accomplish certain things. And as that occurs, I am highly energized as I go into my work day. So I've got a schedule running and cold and whatever it is that gets me going in the morning. I have to schedule it like it's an incredibly important meeting. Again, because my energy is so important. So you have to schedule your energy as step two. Step three now is to change your schedule. Identify the energy draining commitments and begin to eliminate, delegate, or even restructure those energy draining commitments. So, for example, if you've got a standing meeting that's blocked every morning, um, maybe think about scaling that back a bit. Maybe it's not necessary for you to have that meeting, which might be a form of micromanagement, by the way. Instead of doing that, maybe you make it 2 days a week. Or maybe in the spirit of changing your schedule, you block thinking time every single morning, just 15 minutes to just get your act together, get your head right, and think about maybe the day's most important tasks. That would give you energy. You'd block that sort of time every morning. Maybe you do it every afternoon. And as a result, it prevents some overload and it gets more clarity. So change your schedule so that you are focusing energy on the right things. That would be your step three. Step four now is to empower your team. See, leaders lose energy when they micromanage more than most anything else. So start to look to delegate decisions to your team. If you don't feel like you can delegate decisions to your team, then there's probably a lack of knowledge or training or something that hasn't been done yet. So we have to start there, get confidence in the abilities of the people we're delegating to, and then start to delegate decisions to your team and empower that team. So, for example, make a list of decisions that only you need to approve, and then let the team handle the rest. Step five would be to manage then the team energy. A team's energy affects the leader's energy. So if certain people are constant drainers, take action, do something about it. Ask yourself, is there someone on my team who always drains my batteries? Is there someone on my team who's always draining my energy? Either help them improve or help them find a better fit elsewhere. So I find this energy audit process to be so important. And it's something that we might just brush aside. You might be listening to this saying, yeah, it sounds great in theory, but I'm telling you, once I discovered this just a few weeks ago, as I was reading some of Molly Fletcher's work and I heard her on a podcast. She runs her own great podcast, by the way. But I heard her talking around this. I'm like, you know what? I'm big on energy. I've never actually bucketed my items. I know what gives me energy and what takes it away, but I haven't been as purposeful around, identifying those things, but then scheduling my energy and changing my schedule around it, and then empowering people around me so that it supports me in my desire to focus on those things that are higher energy for me. And then I also haven't thought around managing team energy. When I started doing this just recently, I actually noticed a tremendous difference, not just in my energy, but my attitude overall. So, in conclusion, I think that energy management isn't really about just doing more. It's about doing the right things. And that's what this conversation today is all about. Leaders set the tone. If you're exhausted, guess what? Your team probably will be too. So, my call to action today is for you to audit your energy. Maybe today, maybe this whole week, to get a more comprehensive overview as to what's giving you energy and taking it away and what may be neutral. Audit your energy this week. And then ask yourself, what can you do more of that gives you energy? What can you eliminate? And start to take control of your energy clock and lead at your very best. I think in using Molly's methods here, it keeps us engaged. It keeps things actionable. And I think that if we're more purposeful in doing this sort of thing, ultimately, we become better leaders ourselves and we model the behavior that we expect of everybody else around us. That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.